Hello and welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez. I go live Monday nights on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 o'clock Pacific time, 11 o'clock Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys check out the show when I go live and make sure you guys absolutely participate in that super chat. Well, it's your favorite wrestling fan here after watching a week of wrestling. Gotta be honest, I got some things to talk about. I'm just kidding, no, but today we're gonna talk about my first segment. We're gonna talk about some AEW Dynamite. In our second segment, we got TNA Impact results, also Ring of Honor. In our third segment, we're going to talk about NXT Vengeance Day. We're gonna preview. I'm gonna give you guys some predictions. And, I'm hoping for a good pay-per-view. I think it's going to be super... Well, not pay-per-view, PLE. Do people even say pay-per-views anymore? Maybe if you're an AEW fan, perhaps. But, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It has a pretty stacked card. Also, we're going to talk about AEW Grand Slams. But, actually not going to be a pay-per-view. There was rumors actually stating that it was supposed to be a pay-per-view, although I, highly doubt it. They probably could have got some takers, being honest. They could have got some buyers there, but having it stream on HBO Max simultaneously as well as on TNT is pretty badass. I like the fact that it's after the NBA All-Star Game. So, you're going to have potentially maybe some people, they put it on the All-Star Game, walk away from the TV. Around that time, you're kind of, getting the kids ready for bed or, for some people, having a late dinner or maybe having some drinks with some friends or, playing cards or hanging out with the wife and you just like, I just need some background noise. So then maybe potentially this could be a highly rated show for AEW. I think it would be, I think it's going to be great. It has a, pretty stacked card as well, just like NXT Vengeance Day. So we're going to talk about that. In our fifth and final segment, we got WWE Superstars released. We're going to talk about them, we're going to talk about maybe why they got released, maybe some potential future landing spots for them. We're also going to talk about, and this is totally speculations, I have no inside sources whatsoever, I have a handful of superstars that are maybe potentially in trouble of losing their character, maybe on the back burner, or maybe in line of being released next. Although I do not wish release upon anybody whatsoever, but we're going to talk about some stars that if they don't step it up, or if they don't get a storyline quick, they can possibly be saying bye to WWE. So we're going to get into that in our fifth and final segment. But before we do any of that, just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up the comment section. Definitely when we go live on our shows, hit up that super chat, those super stickers, because we super love you. And whether if you got a burning question or a hot take in terms of the professional wrestling, go to leave a comment no matter what. Just want to make sure you guys feel like your voice is part of the mix, so don't be shy, drop your comments inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed during a live show, hit up that super chat. Obviously, we are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network, who checks out all the videos. Punch that like and subscribe button to that show and make all your dreams come true. Of course, if your dreams are watching more podcasts about professional wrestling. So let's get this party going. Like I said, feel free to comment. The GSMC Sports Network is all about, peace, love, and positivity 1,010%. So let's make this podcast the best wrestling podcast in the world. Gonna need your help for that. So make sure you guys drop your comments inside that chat and, subscribe and hit a thumbs up. All right, without further ado, let's talk about our first segment. We're going to talk about some AEW Dynamite. Dynamite was, I checked highlights. I got to be honest, I was pretty busy this week, but it was at the HEB Center in Austin, Texas. It all started out with Edge stealing I think it showed Edge stealing the briefcase or something like that. I'm not too sure. Or maybe that's the way, when I watched the highlights, that was like the first thing they wanted to show me. But I thought that was pretty crazy. The whole time I was watching it, I was like, all right, okay, so he stole the briefcase at the end of the night, only to kind of be, I was a little disappointed about how it all ended. But, it was build up. It was a build up toward AEW Grand Slam Australia. So, I get it. It happened and it was cool. Obviously, the same commentary team. We saw Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, also Nigel McGuinness. So we saw Max Caster. I don't know why I want to say Craster. Max Caster taking on the Hangman Adam Page. This was, from head to toe, just a squash match. Just a squash match of, Max Caster recently, well, not even recently anymore. Like, he was approached by MVP. He wanted to give him the card, kind of him blowing smoke up his arse, gaslighting him, saying that he was one of the best wrestlers in AEW. He's kind of been going off the rails for that. We don't really have, the Acclaimed anymore. They're probably they're broken up. I'm gonna go off and confidently say that we're probably not gonna see the Acclaimed anymore in AEW, which is I feel like fans liked them. They overall were a pretty likable stable. Obviously, but I feel like once when Daddy Ass left, it kind of all went to crap. So, but obviously this was a nice little, momentum for Hangman Adam Page, making his way back to AEW after his suspension about I think it was 4 months ago when he was suspended by the Elite or Matthew Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks. But ever since making it back to AEW, he's made such an imprint, starting, he had his feud with Swerve. A lot of people didn't like that, but I felt like AEW creative writing kind of found a great way to kind of balance the act, where people could potentially take the side of Hangman Adam Page, and some people could potentially take the side of the AEW World Champ. No, I think he lost it beforehand. I think he did. No, yeah, he did. He lost it to Bryan Danielson. It was a nice little storyline, and now both of them obviously doing their own thing. But Hangman Adam Page, he wins, he loses. I feel like he's like the perfect superstar right now, and he's right now. Him and MJF are starting, they're starting their feud, which is going to be big. It's gonna be pretty badass. I definitely think they're gonna have a match at AEW Revolution. So looking forward to that. AEW's Trios Tag Team Champions, the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta took on the Undisputed Kingdom. It was nice to see Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly back together. I know they wrestled sometime outside of WWE, but it was kind of cool to see the Undisputed Era again. I loved the Undisputed Era. I thought, once when those 4 guys were released, Roderick Strong, the only person we're missing is Bobby Fish. It was a shock. It was a shock because I felt they didn't really even get a chance to really fight on the main roster on Raw or SmackDown. But maybe during that time it was for the best. Maybe they saw a sunken ship. Maybe they saw the way Vince McMahon was handling talent being promoted from the Black and Gold brand up to Raw or SmackDown, and it just wasn't looking good. And it caused a lot of superstars like Aleister Black, like Ember Moon, like Keith Lee, kind of saw their demise. Lars Sullivan. A lot of these wrestlers kind of fell under the radar, and not a lot of people, thought of picking them up. And so far, all those superstars, they did find success outside of WWE. But as of right now, I feel like the only one really thriving that used to be on NXT would probably be Athena. I'm trying to think of other superstars that were on NXT that I can't think of right now, but no, it was it was all good. It was all good. It was it was a good match. Kind of I hated how the Death Riders, they just seem to just keep winning and winning and winning. It was a nice match between 6 talented guys. So and right now the Death Riders were especially Claudio Castagnoli, I felt like was kind of like on a downpour of he was kind of losing a little bit. So I don't know. It was kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy. All right, next we have MJF and Hangman Adam Page interaction. Obviously, MJF was being interviewed by Renee Paquette. MJF said that no amount of paint on your face will hide your shame. Hangman Adam Page interrupted MJF, made a booze joke, and Page said that is that the best you got? MJF said that whatever this is not whole page this isn't whole pages, which is weird to kind of I don't know. But anyways, so this feud is gonna be great. I can't wait for it to finally come in fruition. We've been begging for the past couple of interactions where Hangman Adam Page interrupted MJF and MJF interrupted Hangman Adam Page. So disrespect from both sides. I want to see these 2 talented superstars go at it. Both of them are on their prime. Both of them are very, at their prime very much. MJF, and Hangman Adam Page, potentially, AEW World Champions once again. That, I feel like any one of those guys would be. I do love Mox. I love what John Moxley's doing right now with with the Death Riders and how he's holding AEW up, especially after I felt like Swerve did a pretty good job too as the AEW World Champion. Samoa Joe was good. I thought he was pretty badass. Bryan Danielson was just kind of like I felt like it was kind of like a flare. He won the championship from Swerve, and then he was going to retire. Who do you think's going to hold the company on their back with such high reputation, take care of it? And obviously John Moxley was the best decision because he was kind of like the new flavor. He lost his IWGP championship and made it back to AEW full time, and now he's running the biz. So it would be cool to kind of see these three guys go at it potentially in a triple threat match moving forward. But I'm very high on these on MJF and Hangman Adam Page. Next, we have Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata defeating John Cruz, Aaron Solo, and Rosario Grillo. I think it's Grillo. It was an easy squash match. Samoa Joe, these three men, obviously kicking ass, taking names. I guess their group name, the Ops, is highly unliked. It could be better. The Ring of Honor World Champion Chris Jericho and Brian Keith were interviewed by Renee Paquette. Jericho complained about Bandito, saying he wanted Keith to watch Jericho collect the bounty for Bandito. Jericho challenged Bandito to a showdown. Keith told Renee not to embarrass him in front of Jericho once again. So are we going to get a different storyline here for the Bad Apple? I felt like the Bad Apple was pretty cool. And then now this whole learning tree thing, I feel like it's kind of faltering. I kind of see a little bit of animosity between Jericho and Big Bill. Maybe this might be a great way for Big Bill and the Bounty Hunter to kind of, just kind of stem away Chris Jericho right now. I feel like in terms of his wrestling career, his illustrious wrestling career with a bunch of accomplishments in and outside of the ring, I love myself some Chris Jericho. I absolutely, admire, will forever, ever respect Y2J. But I don't know. It might be time to call it quits. You know what I mean? Right now, I know he's just there. He's there to put over young talent. He did it. He did it for Hook during their feud. Now he's doing it with he's doing it with Powerhouse Hobbs. Now he's doing it with who is that? Who's facing him for the Ring of Honor World Championship? I can't think of it right now. Maybe Bandito. So I don't know. I just feel like Jericho. Maybe he's exactly where he is right now. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too attached to it. Willow Nightingale was being interviewed by Renee Paquette, who was attacked by Marino Shafir. Once again, the Death Riders doing their thing. John Moxley walked in saying that Adam Copeland is a dead man walking. So not really, once again, the Death Riders run this show. The Elite storyline just kind of faltered. We barely see Kaz Okada anymore. We barely see Jack Perry, and the Young Bucks just often dipped to New Japan Professional Wrestling. So, the storyline was kind of a lux, but I feel like right now they're on a better page than what they were. Dustin Rhodes takes on Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Obviously, the fans were strongly behind Dustin in his hometown of Austin, and everybody just hates MJF, which is pretty cool. He's such a great heel. Obviously, Hangman getting the win with a submission. Dustin passed out in the hold, so MJF got the win. It went on for 11 minutes, so it was a very good, awesome matchup. After the match, MJF started attacking Rhodes. Hangman Adam Page comes out for the save, and then they both end up, squabbling a little bit. Most likely setting up a match toward Revolution next month. Like I said, two guys absolutely in their prime favorites, and it's gonna be such a badass rivalry. I can't wait. Megan Bayne defeats Maya World. I feel like this was kind of a squash match as well. It lasted about a minute. F5 bam. And Megan Bayne once again continues her momentum to possibly be a face or a competitor within the women's AEW title picture. So, always rooting for somebody new to kind of come along. Always. Chris Statlander defeats Penelope Ford. I love Chris Statlander. I think she is essentially kind of what embodies the TBS championship. I thought she should have beat Mercedes Moné the second time they faced. But, it is what it is. Chris Statlander would be an amazing TBS champion. But, Harley Cameron is taking on Mercedes Moné at AEW Grand Slam Australia. So maybe potentially we'll see a different face. Maybe Harley Cameron, who has all the talent in the world, could, potentially be the one to dethrone Mercedes Moné. But overall, very impressive performance for Chris Statlander. AEW Tag Championships, we had the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin defeat the Guns. It was... it was exactly what the match was supposed to be. The Guns came in, seemed like they had the momentum, seemed like they were going to win, seeming like they are tag team competitors and they're not going anywhere. But, AEW right now, Tony Khan, high on Bobby Lashley, high on Shelton Benjamin. Recently, Cedric Alexander was released by WWE. Maybe we might get him on AEW to finally have the three back together. And I would love it. I would definitely love to see the Hurt Business turn into the Hurt Syndicate 2.0. So I would definitely love to see Cedric Alexander in that role. But, all in all, no one's really stopping this gang right now. The Hurt Business, they hurt people. We hurt people. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not trying to dog it or anything. But, it is what it is. It's cool. It's all good. Mariah May, the Women's World Champion, was backstage saying that everyone will realize that Mariah did it better. May claimed that Toni Storm wouldn't exist without May, and it stops now. May said maybe she loves Storm because this is going to be a mercy killing. And I beg to differ. I love Mariah May. She's cool and all. But when the title's around the waist of Toni Storm, she just made it so much more. I don't know if it's the theatrical of the timeless Toni Storm aspect of it, but I don't know. Or I don't know. Because Mariah May, it was cool, the way she turned on her, and then she had the high heel stuck in her head, and it was crazy. After winning the Owen Hart Cup, just to add insult to injury, and so she got that title shot, and she dethroned Toni Storm, but now they're back at it again. Can't wait to see this match. One of the matches I'm looking forward to, actually the most, watching this upcoming Saturday. Totally, I think Sunday. Yeah, I think Sunday. Totally stoked about it. Totally stoked. So at the end of the show, you had Jon Moxley finally accept Cope's challenge. Him and Jay White were smashing that briefcase, trying to get the AEW World Championship out of there. Jon Moxley obviously said, my blood, sweat, and tears were inside that title, and my soul is inside that ring, and he's the protector of the AEW World Championship. Which is kind of cool. Death Riders at one point looked like they were probably going to, end the show as well as they always do. But now they're building up major momentum, kind of being victors in that trio bout against the Undisputed Kingdom. So, overall, like I said, checked out highlights, Dynamite. It was good. It was good. All right, guys. So, hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our TNA Impact and Ring of Honor results. So, grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.